You're watching ISTV News. This is Panorama giving you the news. Let's see the top stories. Government CSOs silent on controversial Indo-Myanmar border fencing. Army ADC Chandal appear complaint on Myanmar Army's encroachment upon Howland 5 village on Indian territory. Let's see the news in detail. The state and the central governments and the civil society organizations of Manipur seem to have remained silent over the controversial Indo-Myanmar border fencing. On the other hand, the Indian Army and the Autonomous District Council ADC of Chandal district appear to have given consent to the encroachment by the Army of Myanmar upon Howland 5 village in the territory of India. Howland 5 village, located on the Indo-Myanmar border about 4 km from More town in Chandal district, came into existence in 1992. The village is about 5 km wide and 8 km long. A total of 67 houses with 270 people are settled in the village. The inhabitants on the village are really anguished over the encroachment by the Myanmar army for about 1 km on their village. The Myanmar army has erected fencing in the village, claiming that the land belongs to Myanmar. To the shock and surprise of the villagers, the Indian Army and the ADC Chandal have allegedly told the villagers not to raise voice against the Myanmar Army's act. Some villagers told the ISTV News. Meanwhile, the state government seems to be unable to do anything. This makes the villagers all the more anguished and makes them suspect if there is any secret understanding between the governments of India and Myanmar. Villagers said that the Indian Army and the ADC Chandal blocked the villagers in constructing 2 houses away from the fencing erected by the Myanmar Army and forced the villagers to demolish the houses. They were also told not to go near the fencing. Now, the Myanmar Army has claimed that the road that leads to Mizoram and lies in the middle of the village is their land. In addition to that, people of Myanmar are engaged in quarrying stone and sand from the river near the village and also have set up a brick farm very close to the village. But the Indian Army say nothing and keep watching silently. At the same time, Chief Minister of Manipur, Okram Ibobi, has reportedly asked village chief Lal Kolun Haukip to give 3,000 acres of land for construction of the integrated checkpost at Howland 5 village. At present, construction of the ICP had already started at More, but the Myanmar army had raised objections to it. The village chief expressed unwillingness to the chief minister's proposal.
Sabagan sida mase Indian army moina mase jumse lokto aina jumse ani lokto khra ada ekoi praja gi wakan de ekoi gi lamse moita pitho khra bra nadraga kari gi no ekoi gi lamni aina jum sabasida mase to bu yaro ai bido Why Maramada Burma Army na Harity Wakana Maleva? A quick spy magna, Marcelo told the idea. I took ADC, more ADC as Wibne. Tanning Marcel Zuman is the Loto Highway. Marcel Sakriba, Paleva, Zumani is Loto.
It may be recalled that Governor of Nagaland, Dr. Ashwani Kumar, who was also looking after Manipur for some months, had gone to More to inspect the controversial border fencing. Deputy Chief Minister Guy Kungam, MLAs and representatives of all political parties along with civil society organizations had also inspected the fencing. Besides, a joint team of Union Ministry of Home Affairs, External Affairs and BRO had also come to More to see for themselves how much land of India had been left out by the fencing. The team had assured that a bilateral talk would be held with the Myanmar Authority for the proposed joint redemarcation of the international boundary. But so far, nothing has been heard of since then.
Alan Pai, the government 3,000 acres reserve area. The same but the American Siamna Ebukowe, Magi Chamberda. Aduda Ngana Buddy, 3,000 acre with the Pibungamoy. Every Priyanas we are right. Aduga Lamna Su Yadabani. Adu Pitoka di Priyana Krichava, Kataidel Karitoba, Pilataba. Aduda Karigumba, Tangai Padaran Piva, Taraso, Kona Hanase, Adumakbuti, Supi Biro Avenue.
The inaugural function of a 5-day training program for fees farmers of Imphal West District under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana was held today at Lamphel Path. About 130 fees farmers of the district were present at today's function organized by District Fishery Officer Imphal West. Many fishery experts of the office along with those from the Inland Fisheries Training Center Lamphel delivered lectures on different topics during the technical session of the program. The program will conclude on June 21. Here's a short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Director of Education S.H. Dilip has asserted that the state government is working hard to promote education in Manipur. He said this during a program, Felicitation 2014, organized by the Cookie Students Organization at the Classic Hotel today. Director of Education S.H. Dilip graced the function as the chief guest. President of Cookie Students Organization GHQ, Pautinthang Lufeng, and leaders of Tangkul Katamnao Long and Cookie NP Manipur attended the function. Students who secured more than 75% in the Class 10 examinations conducted by the Board of Secondary Education Manipur and those who secured more than 85% in the same examination conducted by CBSE were felicitated during the function. Different leaders of KSO stated that KSO is not only working for the welfare of the Cookie students but also are taking part in various social issues. Speaking on the occasion, President of KSO, Pautinthang Lufeng, said, today's achievement was the first step towards success for the prize-winning students. He further appealed to the government of Manipur to provide facility of smart class in the schools of hill districts to promote better education. Director H. Dilip said the condition of the government schools in Manipur is improving to a large extent. The teachers should work wholeheartedly for the welfare of the students so that the students are able to enthusiastically sacrifice for the sake of the society. Only then quality education will be achieved in Manipur, he added.
Comprising of the main 8 higher secondary schools within the Imphal area. We have also instructed all those concerned officials of the education department running the other higher secondary schools both in the rural areas of the valley and all the hill areas that the students who aspire to study in government schools must be given the maximum opportunity to enroll themselves in the government schools. This is not to say that we have anything against the private sector, private schools, which are also very important pillars.
Now to national and international news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is in Bhutan on his first foreign visit since taking office today, said a strong and stable India is needed to ensure we can help our neighbors. A strong and prosperous India is in the interest of nations in the SAARC grouping or the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, Mr. Modi said, addressing a joint session of the Bhutan Parliament this morning. If India progresses, it will directly impact the development of neighbors, he said. The Prime Minister arrived in Bhutan on Sunday for a 2-day visit, stepping up a charm offensive with neighbors to try to check China's influence in the region. I said a while back B for B, Bharat for Bhutan and Bhutan for Bharat. I said it just like that, but later I realized that it must be a sign from God that I said this, Mr. Modi said at a banquet hosted by Bhutanese Prime Minister Shering Tobgay yesterday. The Prime Minister said relations with Bhutan will be a key foreign policy priority of my government, adding that Bhutan was a natural choice for his first visit. Talks are expected to focus on strengthening ties over the kingdom's hydropower plants which supply much needed clean energy to India. Bilateral trade was worth $1.1 billion in 2012. Meanwhile, seeking to push further the relationship with Bhutan, India today announced a number of measures and concessions, including the exemption of Bhutan from any ban on export of milk powder, wheat, edible oil, pulses and non-basmati rice. The two sides also reaffirmed their commitment to their cooperative partnership and agreed to further promote trade and investment. Rudraprayak Superintendent of Police Barindrajit Singh said 17 skeletal remains were recovered from Jungle Chati area on the way to Kedarnath Shrine on Saturday. These were cremated after DNA samplings and other formalities, he said. The total number of skeletal remains found and disposed of in the area during combing operations resumed recently have gone up to 35, the SP said. The Uttarakhand government had constituted a special task force to conduct intensive combing operations in the forests adjoining Kedarnath in search of bodies. IGP Sanjay Gunjal will be in charge of the task force, which will conduct combing operations over the next 20 days. Cloudburst and resultant flash floods on June 16 and 17 last year wrought widespread havoc in the Hill state. The Pakistani Taliban on Monday warned foreign firms to leave the country and vowed retaliatory strikes against the government after thousands of troops launched a long-awaited offensive in the troubled tribal district. The statement came as Pakistan's major cities braced for a backlash by deploying thousands of soldiers and paramilitaries while placing hospitals on high alert for incoming casualties. The offensive on North Waziristan, a stronghold of Taliban and Al-Qaeda militants, was launched a week after a brazen insurgent attack on Pakistan's main airport in Karachi, which left dozens dead and marked the end of a troubled peace process. We warn all foreign investors, airlines and multinational corporations that they should immediately suspend their ongoing matters with Pakistan and prepare to leave Pakistan. Otherwise, they will be responsible for their own loss, spokesman Saidullah Sahid said in a statement. This thing is clear to all that the capital gained by Pakistan through your activities and trade falls on innocent tribal women and children like fire and iron, he added. The Islamist group also vowed to take revenge on the government. Pakistani fighter jets resumed airstrikes in North Waziristan on Monday, a day after the army announced the start of a major military operations to flush insurgents out of the volatile region bordering Afghanistan. Military sources said combat aircraft pounded targets in the region's Shawal sector, killing at least 21 militants. Independent confirmation or other details were not immediately available in a region where journalists are not allowed to operate freely and where the army has imposed curfew and turns off mobile phone services to undermine the insurgency. On Sunday, Pakistan sent troops, artillery and helicopter gunships to North Waziristan in a long-expected military operation seen as a response to a deadly insurgent attack on its biggest airport a week ago. The all-night attack on Karachi airport by a band of highly trained Uzbek fighters all but destroyed prospects for peace talks with the militants who are fighting to topple the Pakistani government and impose a strict Sharia-based theocracy in the nuclear-armed nation. Militants from the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant boasted on Twitter that they had executed 1,700 Iraqi government soldiers, posting gruesome photos to support their claim. The authenticity of the photographs and the insurgents' claim could not be verified, and Iraqi government officials initially cast doubt on whether such a mass execution took place. There were also no reports of large number of funerals in the Salahuddin province area, where the executions were said to have been conducted. If the claim is true, it would be the worst mass advocacy in either Syria or Iraq in recent years, surpassing even the chemical weapons attack in the Syrian suburbs of Damascus last year, which killed 1,400 people and were attributed to the Syrian government. The latest attack, if proved, would also raise the specter of the war in Iraq turning genocidal, particularly because the insurgents boasted that their victims were all Shiites. There were also feared that it could usher in a serial of reprisal killing of Shiites and Sunnis like those seen in the Iraq War in 2005 and 2007. With tension escalating in Iraq, the Ministry of External Affairs, or MEA, has issued an advisory asking Indian nationals to avoid all travel to Iraq. In a travel advisory, the MEA says that in view of the precarious situation prevailing in Iraq, Indian nationals are advised to avoid all travel until further notification. The advisory also added that Indian nationals in Iraq may consider leaving the country by commercial means if it is safe to do so. Iraq is currently under attack by militants spearheaded by the powerful Islamic State of Iraq and Lebanon ISIL jihadist group. 4 people were killed and 9 injured in a car bomb explosion today. According to advisory, national living in areas affected by ongoing armed conflict have been advised to stay indoors and to remain in contact with the Indian embassy in Baghdad for necessary advice. Also, those nationals who do not have appropriate documents have been advised to contact the embassy. Well, that's all we have for now, but before we wind up, let's have a quick look at the top stories once more. Government CSOs silent on controversial Indo-Myanmar border fencing. Army ADC Chandal appear complain on Myanmar Army's encroachment upon Howdenpai village on Indian territory. Thanks for watching our news, and for more updates, please stay tuned.